Hi. Today we are going to discuss about a different topic which is called corporate social responsibility. We know that corporates are the biggest contributors towards the tax which is actually going into the welfare of the nation. But apart from that, as per the provisions of Section 135 of the Companies Act, the companies which are coming within the specific brackets have to spend a certain amount of the money mandatorily for the corporate social activities. So why and what is called a CSR? CSR is basically a compliance with ethical standards and international norms. And it is basically a commitment to the society by the corporate by sharing a part of the profit for a well-being of the society which it belongs to. It is intended to create a positive impact through its activities on the environment, customers, employees, communities, stakeholders and public. So to whom all these are applicable? This is applicable for all kind of companies which is having either of this. One is having a net worth of rupees 500 crore or more in a particular financial year, or having a turnover of rupees 1000 crore or more, or a net profit of rupees 5 crore or more to have to comply with the CSR provisions. So if these companies are coming within this particular criteria, they are mandated to spend at least 2% of the average net profits of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial year in pursuant to its CSR policy. That is a condition. So in the Companies Amendment Act 2019 had provided that where the company had not completed the period of 3 financial years since its incorporation, average net profit is calculated with reference to such immediately preceding financial years. So based on the operational years. So where this money have to be spent or how to spend this money? The CSR may be spent by these eligible companies through a trust or a company established under Section 8, a registered trust or a registered society established by the company, either singly or along with other eligible companies. Or company can spend this money through a Section 8 company or a registered society or a charitable society which is constituted under the Act of Parliament, provided these kind of trust or society or company is having an established track record of 3 years in the undertaking similar programs or projects. And the company has specified the projects or programs to be undertaken, the modalities of utilization of the funds, and there should be a proper monitoring mechanism and reporting mechanism in place. So a company is also allowed to collaborate with other companies for CSR activities, and CSR spending on own employees and their family cannot exceed 5% of the total CSR expenditure. So that is a restriction which is being put on the companies to spend that, because it is for basically for the general benefit of the company, and it should not be spent on the own systems. And it cannot, the company cannot contribute towards political activities, or political contributions will not be considered as a CSR spending. So there are certain exclusions also for CSR activities. Activities undertaken in pursuance of the normal course of business will not be considered as a CSR spending. And like projects or programs or activities that benefit only the employees of the company will also not be considered as a part of the CSR spending. Similarly, programs or projects or activities that are carried out as a precondition for setting up a business or part of the contractual obligation undertaken by the company shall also be excluded. And fourth is that requirements there are several requirements. The government requirements are there for specific spending for a particular company. That kind of spending also will not be considered as a part of CSR spending. So there are certain compliances which are to be carried out by the company with respect to the CSR activities. First of it is that the company have to constitute a committee called a CSR committee, which consisting of 3 or more directors. There are certain exemptions for the companies which is having less than 50 lakh CSR spending. Those companies just don't have to constitute a CSR committee, others have to. And the constitution of this CSR committee have to be disclosed in the board report of the company, and this committee have to approve the CSR policy of the company. So this CSR policy have to be published on the website of the company, and the CSR policy should be very clearly mentioning what are the activity which are planning to be undertaken by this project or CSR. And while spending the CSR money, the companies are mandated to give more prominence to spending on the local areas to uplifting the society where it actually belongs to. And if the company fails to spend, there are certain cases the company will not be able to spend, or the company will make some inadvertent mistakes or omissions while spending. What are the consequences of that? If it is so, they have to mention that reason for the non-spending in the board report in a mandatory manner. And next thing is, while calculating the net profit for CSR purpose, the same note include profit arising from the overseas branch and dividends from the other companies. And the CSR have to be spent within the territory of India. It cannot be spent abroad. So we will see the functions of the CSR committee also. CSR committee is basically meant to formulate and recommend to the board a CSR policy, including activities to be undertaken by the company as per the provisions of the Companies Act. And this CSR committee have to recommend the amount of expenditure to be incurred on the CSR activities, and it has to monitor the CSR policy of the company from time to time. So apart from that, there is an option for contributing this money to the specific fund called PM Cares Fund. The PM Cares Fund will qualify as CSR contribution, while as contribution to the CM Cares Fund, Chief Minister's Relief Fund or State Relief Fund will not be qualified for the purpose of CSR spending. And what will happen to the unspent CSR? Unless the unspent amount relates to an ongoing project referred to in the Companies Act, that should be transferred to an unspent account within a period of 6 months from the expiry of the financial year. So the company cannot keep that money. Company have to demarcate that money into a separate bank account, which is called unspent CSR account. Any CSR funds earmarked for an ongoing project shall be transferred by the company within a period of 30 days from the end of the financial year to a special account. And such amount shall be spent by the company in pursuance of the obligations of the CSR policy within a period of 3 years from the date of the transfer. If the company is unable to transfer that money or spend that money within a 3 years time period, this has to be the same fund specified within a period of 30 days from the date of completion of the third financial year. If the company is not spending this money, there is a penal provision for this. If a company is in default in complying with the provisions of spending of the amount, the company shall be liable for a penalty twice the amount required to be transferred to the CSR account. Likewise, along with that penalty, every officer of the company who is in default shall be liable to a penalty of 1/10 of the amount required to be transferred to the company to such funds specified under Schedule 6 and to unspent CSR account as the case may be, or 2 lakh rupees, whichever is less. Thank you very much.